That's going twice, absolutely not. So again, so last time we were here, we were honored to be able to let a really amazing man come and speak, and I'm super excited that he was able to come today. Darren Bailey, I joked that I was going to mess up his name. Darren Bailey is here, and while we can't endorse anybody, we kind of highly suggest that you just take a look at him on this land. So yeah, just take a look at him, but he's going to just say a few things, and we're super excited to have you here again, Darren.
God bless you guys. You know, it's crazy. Just yesterday morning on my Facebook Live, I mentioned the idea that the governor might be, forcing more mandates upon us. You know what he did at 2:30 this afternoon? Forced immediate mandates on our schools and in our nursing homes and in our prisons and anywhere there are many, states. So right there, when we let our education go, just as Bobby suggested, we start taking, counting on the government to take care of us, it never goes well, does it? And many of you here tonight know that all too well. Pastor Pawlowski knows that all too well. Friends, it is time for the church to stand up, to draw that line, and that we get ourselves educated. We hold our elected officials accountable. Get to know whoever your state rep, your state senator is. Get to know them and develop a relationship. I don't care if they're on the other side of the thought process than you are. Get to know them. Hold them accountable. Understand the process. Start praying for someone, for people to rise up to run against this. I love the idea of paper ballots. Look up SB Senate Bill 2038. You will see that just a few months ago, I filed a bill, for paper ballots. So these are just common sense ideas. But unfortunately, these common sense ideas aren't being heard right now. But fortunately, our governor has no idea when to rein it in. He has no idea of how to represent and how to govern. And because of that, the people all over this state are beginning to realize that this is looking a whole lot like the history of the past in many countries, and yours especially. And we have got to stop it. Friends, we can stop it, okay? There's look us up. I know many of you here, when you were here the last time, took my information home, BaileyForIllinois.com, Darren Bailey for Governor. Tag in, sign up for our stuff. We are going to be training. We've got a year before the primary. We've got a year and a half before the general election. We're going to be training. We're all over the state. There's several groups that we're going to be working with to be training you to be a poll watcher or an election judge. So when we get the voter, we have a constitutional process to protect a lot of this fraud that's taking place. When we hold our county clerks accountable to keeping the voter roll, it's their job, and by law they have a time that they're supposed to do this, but we've not held them accountable. So when we hold them accountable, then when we step up and do our due diligence in the election, we'll test run it during the primary, and then we will be out in force all over the state, mainly Cook, DuPage, and Will County. We'll have our election judges, poll watchers. The Illinois Republican Party is working on election attorneys that will be available, so when fraud becomes prevalent, we're going to deal with it in real time. We're not going to be talking 6-8 months later. We're going to be dealing with it. So the plan is in place. It's growing. Sign up, volunteer. God bless you guys. Let's protect our freedoms. Let's take this state back. Thank you for being here tonight.
Now by Pawlowski, my friend, and I'm super honored that he is continuing his work, and now he's walking towards the door, and I have no idea where are you going. Look, you're on a time limit right now, Art, so you're cutting into your own time. Just letting you know. Anyway, I'm super honored to introduce my friend, Pastor Art Pawlowski from Calgary, Canada. Street Church.
Put some excitement into your life a little bit. Thank you very much. Wow. I believe that the people from the past would wish to be alive today And many people are saying, well, it's tough, it's crazy, it's this and that, and that's all of that is true. However, that's our greatest opportunity ever, to rise up, to stand up, to go to the fire. And I want to talk today a little bit about the fire. You know, people say, well, what is happening to you is horrible and we feel so sorry. Well, do not feel sorry for me, because I'm telling you, God has given me the biggest pulpit a preacher could ever dream of. You see, it's all perspective. We would never have a chance if they would not be so evil and wicked. You see, when the liars and murderers and cheaters, manipulators, when they are in the land, sooner or later people are looking for the right kind of people. They're looking for the real deal. They're looking for the good people because they're sick and tired of the evil people. Sometimes we take things for granted. Americans have taken things for granted for far too long. You see, Americans thought that money are growing on the trees and that everything is just because it's there. Food grows in Walmarts, other places, and the milk comes from those types of stores. Kids do not know even that cows exist. We have taken things for granted, and we have allowed the evil to forward their agenda for too long, and because of it, we are in the trouble we are in today. However, that's the greatest opportunity that God has ever given to us. So I want to start today with the fire. Is that okay? I spent a week with a friend of mine, a pastor. He had a conference, and it was called Fire Conference, and I got that fire a little bit, I hope, and I want to talk a little bit about the fire. So let's go, if you have your Bible, I don't know if you do. Let's have a little bit of a church today. How about that? Chapter 3. There is a story about 3 boys just like you and me, and girls, that would not bow before what was going on. You see, Nebuchadnezzar created this image, this golden image. Fauci created this image. Biden created this image and said, bow or else. Wear a muzzle on your face, a diaper on your face. Social distance yourself. Why? Because we say so. And you have to bow before this, because if you will not bow before, well, whatever we want you to bow before, we will go after you hard. Yesterday, I was privileged to have a tour in the biggest television station in this country. And I overheard a conversation of the people right on television, and they were saying that they're going to bring, the job. I won't even say what that is, because the devil Facebook will remove the video, because that's what we're dealing with. The lie is allowed, the truth is forbidden. YouTube removes videos. I was in California, and there was tens of thousands of people right there enjoying their lives, and kids were playing. So I took my telephone, the same telephone I took when Gestapo came into our church, and I kicked them out, and I just recorded it. I didn't do much commentary. I just said, look, that's how freedom looks like. In comparison, California is the freest state in the country if you compare it to Canada. I mean, Canada went nuts. So I've heard about California. California is crazy. They're muzzling people, this. So I went over there, and behold, there were tens of thousands of people having a good time, enjoying themselves, playing, swimming. So I took my phone and I recorded it and I posted it on YouTube. It lasted like a split of a second. And it was removed. And I got a strike. I didn't say anything over there. I just showed people what is happening in California without even commenting much. I just said, this is how freedom looks like. That's how low we have fallen. That's how bad it has become. When you show the truth, it becomes a revolutionary act. And you will be thrown into the fire. And that's the story of those 3 boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were told to bow before the golden image, and they said, how can we? We only bow before God. We cannot bow before Fauci. Fauci is a liar. How can we bow before the liars? We do not bow before the liars. We remove liars, and we charge them for treason. That's what we do with those types of people. We cannot bow. So this is what they said. Then the herald loudly proclaimed, "This is what you are commanded to do, all peoples, nations, and men of every language. As soon as you hear the sound of the music, you have to fall down. You must. You must." How many times in the past 2 years we've heard we must wear a muzzle, we must socially distance ourselves, we must do this, we must. Who do you think you are? Yes. You uncircumcised Philistine. Who do you think you are? Really, seriously, like, listen, Biden, who do you think you are? You're not my father, thank God. Fauci, you're not even my cousin, thank God. Who do you think you are to tell me, a free man, born free, according not to Fauci's, but according to God, to remain free? Who do you think you are that you would think that you have a right to enslave a man like me? You see, if the pastors, if the priests, if the rabbis would rise up, if the politicians would stand up and say, enough is enough, not me, I'm not allowing you to do this to me, to my children, this whole thing would be over. I'm shocked. Where are the priests? Where are the pastors? Where are the clergymen? Where are my countrymen? What happened to us? We have been subdued, brainwashed for so long that we can't even see what is right and what is wrong. We can't even see what's really going on. Today, we went for the coffee. We picked up the coffee that I could not finish to drink. I'll have it later on. And I observed this guy, a nicely dressed man. You could tell he was a successful man, drove a nice car. You could tell that his suit was like an expensive one. And the moment he came out of the vehicle, the first thing he did, he reached for his muzzle. It told me, it showed me something very powerful. This guy has been conditioned. It's like an electronic computer chip in his brain. The moment he leaves the vehicle, he puts a muzzle on. A good slave, good puppy, good dog, good, good, good. Keep your muzzle on. Here is the leash. Here is the stick and the carrot. If you don't play the game, we will come heavy on you. You must, or else. You must fall down and worship the image of God. The King Nebuchadnezzar, the King, Biden, Clinton, or whatever the devil is there, has set up, whoever does not fall down, whoever does not wear a muzzle, a diaper on his face, and worship, will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace. Don't you find this interesting that there's always a stick? They will tell you to flatten the curve, it's 2 weeks, and then it's 1.5 years, and we were being told that this is going to go on for years to come. And they say, well, just another 2 weeks. So here's the carrot, then the stick comes down. If you don't, listen, I have traveled around this country for 2 months now. I have been on, I don't know, 60, 70 planes. I have been among the crowds of 10,000 people, and I'm still alive. Ooh. Can you believe it? I should be dead by now. I hugged more people in those 2 months than in my entire life. I think people hugged me when I was wet cat in Florida, in Tampa. I mean, I came out, I was already thrown into a swimming pool. It was so hot, and the people were taking pictures, and they said, well, don't you mind, can we take a picture? I said, if you don't mind a wet cat, that's fine with me. And they, believe it or not, they're still alive. I'm alive. My wife is alive. My children are alive. I have never seen anyone piling up the dead bodies left and right. And in Florida, people are enjoying their lives. Tens of thousands of people were on the beach in California. They're still alive. We're still alive. Can you believe it? And yet, TV every single day, wherever you go, they're telling you that you shall surely die if you don't bow. At the airport, at every 2 minutes, we're being bombarded with the same message. Social distancing, social distancing, social distancing, 2 meters, 6 feet, boom, 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 boom. And then I'm sitting with the guy that I had to social distance myself for, an hour waiting at the airport, and I'm sitting next to him, rubbing shoulders, like we're happy campers, because you see, the virus understands. The virus knows it's a smart virus, it's a political virus, and understands that here you have to keep your 2 meters apart, your 6 feet, but in the plane, he knows your distance. I'm eating my sandwich, I'm perfectly okay. I'm finishing eating my sandwich, I have to put the muzzle on because what? The virus is going to kill us all. We're all going to die. Well, I have a news for you, we are going to die. It's just a matter of time, but not today and not because of a stupid propaganda. It's a lie. It's a hoax. Just like Nebuchadnezzar and all his Fauci's and Biden's and devils in the black house. You know what? The Antifa and the BLM, I mean, those people are, I'll say something, my wife will hate it. They're retarded. I mean, they wake up in the morning and they've left the brain. And it's like, the wind in the middle of the head is just going left and right, and there's absolutely nothing there. I gave a speech at the conference and I said the White House, I don't call it anymore the White House, I call it the Black House. I didn't talk about the races or the color of your skin, that's just dumb. But right now I end up on the biggest Antifa, whatever sides, that I'm a racist. Because I call the Black House, the White House, Black House. I was not referring about the color of the skin of Biden, because I think, now who knows who he is, but I mean alien for sure, illegal for sure, but I don't think he's black. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I never, when I see him, I don't want to even see the guy, so I think he's still white. But they call me a racist right now. I'm a very well-known racist because I call the White House Black House. Oh, you dummies. Go back home, bring back your brain, and here's, I'm going to explain it to you. What I meant is that has been occupied by evil, darkness, blackness. That's what I'm referring to. You can't even figure it out what a man is telling you. That's how low they have fallen, because they're filled with hate. You see, hate for what is good will blind you. And that's what we're seeing left and right. You see, they hate you. You got to understand that. They don't love you. Nothing they're doing is for your benefit. It's against you. All those mandates, all those so-called restrictions, they're not laws. They're not laws. Definitely they're not laws of your country, because you know what? I've read your Constitution and your amendments. And I even was teaching at one time on the 4th of July. I was invited to the church and I said, what am I going to talk about? I can't talk about anything else except how this country was founded. It's Independence Day. I have to talk about the Declaration of Independence and the Founding Fathers. I mean, I have to acknowledge that day. You have a powerful Constitution. They have no right to take your rights away from you, not because of the Constitution, but also because God created you to be free. How dare they? How dare they? We've allowed evil to go free without being challenged. Right now, I am to go to Portland, and Antifa says, well, we're going to hurt you, we're going to kill you. I say, how dare you, people? Where is the police? If you cannot protect us, give me a gun, I'll protect myself. You see, if you don't want to do your job, throw that badge down and go, you coward, so other men can pick up that badge and there will be a new sheriff in town. We have to start taking those people into account. Like, if they cannot do their job, if the politicians have betrayed you, remove them, charge them, arrest them. And if the cop is not willing his job, challenge him. Go and surround the police station and say, your people are useless. Resign, every one of you. So we can hire a new batch of people that will actually protect our children and the future of this country. We have to be more radical. I'm not talking about violence. I'm just talking about being lions showing up into your own savannah. This land belongs to you. Whose land is this? Is this not the land of the free? A home of the brave? Or I am mistaken. Americans have forgotten that this is your land. Take it back. Take back what's rightfully yours. You see, you're not asking for somebody else's land. You're just saying simply, this is my home, this is my country, I want it back. And if not, then 1981 will happen, solidarity movement in Poland, and those cops will start running for their lives. It's time for the people to rise up. So we will. Yes, I am an American. I'll tell you something. We were singing at different events your national anthem, and I'm standing over there, and everyone is, like touching their hearts. I'm thinking, well, I can't do that. That's not politically correct. I mean, I'm not an American. So I just, I did the political thing, and I hated it because I wanted to be an American at that moment. And finally they're singing, I am the American. I said, you know what? Forget politics. I am American. I am American. I have adopted myself at that moment, and I became an American. You know, it's all here, and it's all here. When you look at the giants of the land, you see they're big, but again, it's here. Because the bigger the dude, the faster you're going to be able to hit him, and the louder is going to be the sound when he falls down to the ground. That's what David did. You see, David was a different dude because he shows up and he says, well, what is going to happen to a man that takes this dude down? What kind of a reward are going to that person receive? You see here the different pair of eyes. He looked, you see, majority of the people are looking at the problem, but David looked at the problem as an opportunity. This is our time, people. This is our opportunity to shine. This is our opportunity to run for the office. This is our opportunity to do what's right in the timeline of history. God has given us that opportunity to shine. I don't understand why people are so afraid. So Antifa is coming to one of our meetings. So what? Let the hyenas come. I mean, I will not eat all day. Then I'll have a big evening meal. You see, our lions eat hyenas. That's why, you know, since I came here, I'm getting bigger and bigger. I mean, there's so many hyenas and not enough lions. So I'm asking the lions, rise up and help me, please. I beg you. Let us all eat those hyenas. Let them come. Let them come and let them see the lions. Lions do not bow before the hyenas. Lions do not run. And if the cops don't want to help us, well, let's help ourselves. Is that not what you did in 1776? The cops refused to help you. They became the abusers, the English. The Brits became the abusers. And the forefathers decided enough is enough. We're going to pick up arms. We're going to do what's right, not just for our sakes, for our children and our children's children. They stood up, they rose, and yes, a number of them died. But because they were willing to die, they were also willing to live. You have your country. And that's the beautiful story. You see, I always say there is a story within the story. You see, there is a story within the story. I wanna highlight that. So the boys were told, and the whole nation was told that you have to bow or else. You gotta wear a mask, or else. A muzzle, sorry, a piece of Pampers. Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, you know, all those different music instruments, all the people, nations, and men of every language fell down and worshipped the image of God that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Is that not a sad story? Like, think about it. All of those people immediately bowed. Is that not what we are seeing right now around the world? Those wannabe tyrants, they're telling us you have to, you must. And the people, instead of standing up and fighting, they say, okay, well, bow, it's not a big deal, it's just for 2 weeks, right? It's just for 2 weeks, it's not a big deal. Come on, if we do this, maybe they will leave us alone tomorrow. And here we are today, almost 2 years later. And it's not stopping. I'm telling you, right now, you will have to prove, before you enter to a restaurant in New York City and other places, that you got a job. I'm not going to say it because those devils, the Nazis, are going to remove that video. You need to get a job like a proper dog, a good cat, or else you cannot eat in a restaurant. So we have brought effectively a segregation again. There will be 2 categories of people. Good dogs and lions. And that's it. Dogs and lions. Remember, I don't remember if last time I told you the story, a friend of mine, Archbishop of Kibarabara in Kenya, in Africa, told me a story that one day a lion decided to come from savannah into the city of Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city in Kenya. And this lion had a good time, but from time to time he started to roar. You know what happened? Dogs started to die, and cats started to die. It turned out that many dogs died in the city of Nairobi up to a couple kilometers away. At the roar of the lion, the dogs had a heart attack. you have to start roaring. You gotta start roaring. Let's give them heart attack. Let's give those dogs a heart attack. Those hyenas. Let's start roaring. You see, we are being deplatformed and censored left and right. We just did a video in a television, and within 9 minutes, it had 13,000 views, and then it stopped at the one number, and it's like for 5 hours, did not move even one click. That's what they are doing, because they're afraid of our roar. That means we're effective. That means the enemy is terrified. That means what we're doing is good and it's working because it's giving people hope. David saw an opportunity. Others saw a giant. But you have to make up your mind. What's in front of you, is it an opportunity or an enemy that is going to swallow you? How big is your God? Is big enough to tackle those giants? Those Faucis, those Bidens, those Clintons, those Obamas, the liars, cheaters, murderers? Or he is not big enough? If he is not big enough, then you will have to bow. I'm not bowing. You see, they say I'm going back to prison. First, I was facing 4 years prison for my horrible crime of opening the church and inciting people to come to church. Then they changed it to 21 days prison. And then they gave me an offer. You see, the devil always comes with silver and gold with an offer. And they said, if you will only publicly say you're sorry. You're sorry. That's it. That's all. Just bow. Will you? And all of this will be taken care of. It will go away. You know my answer is very straightforward. He said, lock me in, take the key, and throw it away. I will not bow. I will not say I'm sorry. One day, you will say you're sorry. But it will be too late for you if you die and you face my God. I've done nothing wrong, and I'm not going to apologize to you evil, wicked devils. I have nothing to apologize for. I opened the church for those that wanted willfully to come. I give hope to the hopeless. I feed the poor. I save lives. I have nothing to apologize to those people. And if you want to throw me for 21 days for not apologizing, so be it. I'll be fasting. 21 days, it's a good number to fast. And I need to fast. I need to fast because you see, when you're eating so many hyenas for so many months, they will give me a good opportunity to get rid of that extra front muscle. You know what I mean? I mean, everything they do can be turned against them. Don't go crazy. Don't go suicidal. Don't go depressed. No matter what is happening, this is our greatest moment in history. Once again, God has given us this opportunity to shine, to bring hope to our neighborhoods, to go and get involved. Stop sitting in warm pewing your whatever you're sitting on. Go out there, stand up, rise up, be the voice. Maybe you said, well, that was not for me, that's for somebody else. Listen, if you're being sturdy in the heart, that means it's for you. If there's something in you that says, well, I wish someone would do it, well, that someone is you. God has you. You see, I never wanted to be involved in politics. I was asked many times to run for the office. But there came a point that I had to become involved because I've lost my country. We've lost our countries. If we will not do it, no one else will. David realized something. My brothers are not fighting. The warriors, nicely dressed, they're not fighting. They're cowards. I guess I have to stand up and fight. So he was asking his brothers and others, what is going to be given to a man that takes this big dude down? And they told him, and says, okay, no problem. Went and did it. And he did it with a stone. You see, we sometimes think we need extraordinary methods and we need this and we need that. I'm telling you, there is nothing more powerful than the tongue of a man. Look how terrified they are. You see, I'm going to tell you, get out. She just said 3 minutes. That's horrible. That's horrible. I just started my preaching. Whoa! I didn't even finish the story, now I gotta do it fast forward. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, then, bow! Everybody else did it. And look at the situation. They stood like a sore thumb. Everybody could see them. You see the all nations, all the people bowed, but they refused to bow. They stood their ground, and because of it, they end up in the fire. Nebuchadnezzar said to the greatest of his warriors, he says, bound them up and throw them. He asked the best generals, the best of the best, to do that. And you know who died? They came too close to the fire. The fire was so intense that the enemies of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego burned to the ground. That's what is going to happen to our enemies. The devices that they have created against us will be used against them. The censorship, one day we're going to censor them. One day they will have no voice. One day we're going to rule. You see, the time is coming, for the time of reckoning is coming. The enemies of those 3 boys died immediately. And then they went to the fire. You want to see Jesus? You want to see your victory? Do not be afraid of the fire. Fire purifies people. Fire intensifies everything, but if you want to see pure gold, it has to go through the fire. And God is allowing certain things to happen to us because He's looking for perfection. He's looking for a purity of heart. That's why they're bombarding us left and right, because God is stretching us. He's saying, He's waiting, He's watching, He's looking who is the real deal. Art, you know, I had been offered $2 million and a place to build my church if I was shut up. I'd never shut up. Never, ever. I have been born for this. I have been born to fight with giants and eat hyenas. That's on my diet. You can't take that away. It's in my nature. That's what I do. I have been born to eat those creatures for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's why I gotta spit the bones from time to time. Rise up, stand up. Do not be terrified. Do not be afraid. Greater is He that is in us than the one that is in them. The boys went to the fire. They saw Jesus in the fire, and then they came out. They came out of the fire, and here is the story. Not only they didn't die, but Nebuchadnezzar, the king that was persecuting them, said this: Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in Him and defied the king's command, and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. Therefore I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces, and their houses be turned into piles of rubble, for no other God can save in this way. That's the story within the story. In the end of the day, the enemies end up in the fire. In the end of the day, even the evil Fauci and Biden and Obama and Clinton, all those devils over there, will have to agree that our God is the God. And He is the number one, unshakable, unmovable, the Alpha and Omega. You see, if you are afraid of the Delta, you don't know the God of Alpha and Omega. Be blessed.
Thank you so much, Art. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. We are in a fight. It is good against evil, and the evil will prevail if we don't fight. But like I said before, we know that God wins, but it will take the fight. Courage is more courageous than fear. You have to be courageous. You have to stand up. You cannot let your voice be silenced. We are entering in. We all know what we're heading into. They're letting us have, and I say they're letting us, I'm a little bit of a rebel, so I don't listen to anything they say anyway. They think that they can control us, and they got away with a lot last year. They put a lot of fear in people. I call it fear porn. That's what they do. Turn off your television. Turn off all the nonsense. It's propaganda meant to scare you. We all know that. Tell your neighbors and friends. We all know that we're entering into another phase where they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. My stance on that? Very simple. 3 words. Do not comply. Do not comply. I'll say it again. Do not comply. When they tell your children to put on a mask at school, do not comply. No. What is that word, Art?
No and get out.
No and get out. When they tell you to shut down your business, no. Do not comply. When they tell you how to live your life, the answer, very simple, no. They work for us. We do not work for them. They seem to have forgotten that. So the next time they come out and tell you that you have to do anything, no. It's that simple. Do not comply. Because when we let them do it once, fool us once, shame on us. Or shame on them. Fool us twice, shame on us. We will not let them get away with this again. So we're going to finish up here. Art has, he's going to be doing a, if you speak Polish, you're welcome to stay. I don't speak Polish, so I'll be sitting here in complete oblivion, not knowing what he, well, I know your speech pretty well, so I probably would know it. He is going to be, Art is going to be here in the States probably for about another month or so. These things cost a lot of money. I know you guys pay to get here that cost the venue, that cover the venue. If you would like to help support us, you can either make a cash donation on the way out, or you can go to fecunited.com and make a donation there. All of it goes to running the tour and keeping Art and his family. Your wife is still here, right? Yeah, his wife and kids are still here. And it helps to support them while he's here trying to light the fire of liberty under our butts. His ministry up there, he's not been able to do that. So we're trying to support him as best as we can. So if you can help out in that vein, please do. Again, thank you all for coming out. FEC United is the organization that has had Art on tour. Hopefully after you go to Canada and kick some butt, you're going to come back and we're going to do a really amazing event next year. Save America, yeah. We haven't announced it, but I just let you, I did submit the permits, Art, just so you know. I submitted the permits for next year. So stay tuned because we're not done. We're not done. So anyway, my name is Cindy Chapin, FEC United, and I just want to say once again, what are those 3 words? Do not comply. All right, have a great evening, guys. Thanks so much.